Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and of course, we'll get to the JRC in a moment. But first, real brief disclaimer. Yes, you'll see me at various different points, different time stamps for today, filming in the same clothing. That's because I am pre-filming before putting it up because it makes my life easier. So, just letting you know that right off the bat here. And also, disclaimer, if you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, all pertinent links will be able to be found right there in the description box. So, should you want to do a deep dive on the subject on your own, you're definitely going to be able to do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity. And when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So if you got a young child that is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision very much advised, all right? Other trigger warning, allergies, particularly in the morning. So, where we left off, back to our public comments in regards to the current new proposed rule to ban the GED. This one says, I want the FDA to pass a rule banning the use of electric shock devices for behavioral modification. Excuse me. It has come to my attention that the JRC uses electrical shocks to punish unwanted behavior in the patients it hopes to correct it. I'm going to keep you from hurting yourself by hurting you instead. The logic still doesn't work just off of the face of it. We already know how horrific that is and how they misuse it, but just on the face of it, it makes no coherent sense. Even if it was the beast thing that the JRC says it is, it still doesn't make sense. Not to anybody. For real. These electrical shocks are more painful than that of a taser and are used for banal things like standing up, swearing, not taking off a coat, or screaming while being shocked. And I would argue that even in the most extreme of circumstances, you're more likely to enrage a person in meltdown than you are to de escalate them with this thing. For those not familiar with meltdowns, doing something like that, all I can tell you is you're living dangerously. This is humiliating, this is dehumanizing, this is torture as declared by the United Nations. I am utterly shocked to know that this is not merely a thing of the past, but something that is still used today. I am deeply ashamed to know that the United States of America uses such barbaric, torturous methods on its most vulnerable citizens, not only as an autistic person myself, but as a human being who values lives, happiness, and the dignity of other human beings. The use of this device goes directly against these values. I dare say ABA also does, but that's a subject for a different day. That's going to be a big one we do on the channel eventually, so I want to get some of these other series done and taken care of first so that it can be one of the primary focuses, because there's a lot of attention that series is going to need. All right, another comment. I support a ban on the electrical stimulation devices intended for self-injurious behavior or aggressive behavior. So as you can see, this is another person that used one of the templates from either ARC or maybe ASAN. I'm not 100% sure. They're very useful though. They're from Autism Self-Advocacy network, or you can also go to ARC of the United States. They have templates you can use to make comments like this or send emails to your legislators. Um, actually, very useful. To our next comment, we're going to keep it short today. We're going to do probably about 3 comments each video, so these videos are going to be shorter than normal. Alright, this one says, I am an autistic adult. I want the FDA to ban the use of electric shock devices for behavioral modification. Introducing an aversive to reduce a behavior is called positive punishment, which is well known to foster aggression and fear and can quickly slip into abuse when emotional or physical torment, such as an electrical shock device, is employed. Can somebody please explain to me, like I'm 5, where we came up with this terminology of positive punishment? Because I gotta tell you, that is an oxymoron on the face of it. There's no such thing as positive punishment. Punishment sucks. That's literally the point. Sitting there saying, it's positive punishment because it leads to what? Positive outcomes? Are we considering freezing up in fear or masking a positive outcome? Seriously? But you're not doing what we don't like anymore, so of course that's positive, Tiff, and it means you stopped. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It means that I am behaving myself for now to keep that thing from going off. As soon as that thing comes off, just like how human nature generally works, I'm going to default back to factory settings. We are already naturally resistant to change. You put fear on top of that, you'll only accomplish causing us to do what we need to do to not get hurt. But at the end of the day, if you don't deal with the issues that are at the very heart of the matter, that means the things that lead to that behavior are all still there, all still undealt with, and now you've got massive amounts of trauma and all the fun psychological damage to come with it that goes on top of it. If you thought the behaviors were bad before, speaking from experience, going through trauma, that fight or flight, absolute, utter, and at all times, hypervigilance, hypersensitive to sound, hypersensitive to any sound in regards to, for myself, any large crashes that I hear, loud banging from outside. Let's see here. What are some of the other things that are fun to deal with that can trigger into, yeah. Because guess what? Just because you gain a new diagnosis doesn't mean the old one went away. And these diagnoses coexist, which mean they're going to impact one another. So please explain to me this concept of positive punishment in a way that makes some form of coherent sense. Because if it doesn't, it really should go the way of the dodo. Masking or becoming a robot out of fear is not a positive outcome by any stretch of the imagination. And to pretend like it is, to me, means not only are you evil for evil's sake, but you're lazy as hell. which means you probably would be better in a call center environment and not working in the healthcare field. Just saying, minimal human interaction would probably be better for you. Let me continue here because that really does make no coherent sense. Additionally, the electric shock devices in question are more powerful and painful than a taser and have been identified as torture. No one should be subjected to torture, even if we've got a label. If you couldn't get away with treating people at Gitmo like this, why do people think it's okay that just because I am disabled and somebody calls it medicine that it's okay somehow? Because the more and more you try to convince us it's a good thing, the more monstrous you all reveal yourselves to be. Furthermore, adults in the JRC are expected to perform behaviors that have little to no consequences outside of the JRC, such as standing up, swearing, not removing outerwear, screaming in pain, or moving in certain ways due to disability, are all things that a person is free to do at any time outside of the JRC. Not to mention, they're absolutely detached from all forms of reality idea as to what a neurotypical person, in particular a neurotypical teenager, is like, should have already had them in a place like the JRC, not the students there. It is ridiculous to hold anyone, but particularly those with mental disabilities, to such arbitrary standards that we don't hold our own neurotypical teenagers up to. And if you don't believe me, try just parking sometime without like moving or interacting or anything, and just open your car windows and watch teenagers who are neurotypical interact. They do not act like the standard that they're trying to hold people like me to. You're not making us more normal. You're making that target on our back bigger. And we're going to go ahead and close on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments, and don't forget to double check to make sure that you are set up to receive notifications. We do have those 2 new series on the channel. We're also going to be continuing with the Down the Rabbit Hole and the Medicaid series, and we don't want you to miss anything. I appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all in a little bit. Bye-bye, everyone.